Hey awesome friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Awesome Danny, and today I have a actually very exciting review for you. Well, at least exciting for me, because I had never heard of this set or this company or any of their other sets. This is the MYER-AUDIO CK-LVX. This was sent out by MYER-AUDIO for review, but they didn't ask that I say anything in particular, just to give it a fair shot, honest review, which is what we do here. CK-LVX, we need to think of a name or an easier way to say that, because it's just like, you know, CK-LVX every time might get a little tiring. But this has been a hot topic in my Discord server for the last week or so. Heads up, our buddy Sword at the Audio Smith also got one of these for review, and his review should be up soon. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below so you can go subscribe to him, and while you're doing that, maybe subscribe to me, please, and that way you can catch two different point of views on the same set. But enough about that, let's get into the set itself. This set, before I even listened to it, was very impressive. I really like what they did here. Yeah, you get, you know, the usual accessories. There was two full sets of silicone ear tips, one pair of foam ear tips, the cable, and then, you know, usual unboxing. There was a case, a nice little case to carry everything in. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind here a bit and get to the specs of the set. The price MSRP is set at $333, but it's currently on sale. I'm not sure if that's one of those, you know, AliExpress permanent sales, or if it fluctuates. It was down to like 160 bucks for a bit. I think currently it's at around 180 something dollars. But again, it's usually, well, at least according to AliExpress listing, at $333. So the driver configuration of the set is one dynamic driver plus 4 balanced armatures, which is one of my favorite actually. I really like that configuration. I feel like there's a lot of cool sets that take advantage of that setup and do some really interesting things. It's really cool. I like it. And then usually it's one of those good value sets. When you come across something like that, you get, you know, 1DD, 4BAs, good performance, and usually under like 200 bucks. All right, so getting back to the unboxing and accessories, like I mentioned, I was thoroughly impressed before I even listened to this set. That's something that I pay a lot of attention to, because to me it helps determine the value of a set. And I try to look at these sets not just on their performance alone, because I feel like most people don't buy sets just for performance and don't amass a collection. I'm pretty sure the vocal minority will correct me on that, but I feel like most people will just buy something that works well, it looks good, and that they don't want to buy anything else. I hate coming across a set where it's like, oh, this set's good, but I need to buy ear tips. Or, oh, this set sounds pretty good, but I need to buy a cable. It's, well, I would want a one and done purchase. That is my preference. So there's a lot of sets that meet that standard for me. This one exceeded it by a good amount. So going back into the build, the shells are very nice. They actually look very similar to the A-Full Performer 5. The faceplate looks like it's the same material, even the same color, with some variances. Shell looks similar in shape, but the CK-LVX is bigger, a good amount, a considerable amount. So it's not like the way it's sanded or shaved off. It is quite bigger than the Performer 5. So similar shell style, similar colors, but it is not the same shell. You get a really chunky cable. I was told it looks similar to the one that's in the Juice-Ear 41T or whatever that set is. It's a really pretty cable. It feels sturdy, doesn't have much memory at all, doesn't tangle very easy. It's a little on the stiff side, but mostly because of its heft, and it's very nice to use. And the little leather case that came with, like I mentioned before, it's a little small. I enjoy cases that can carry everything that comes in the box, or at least most of the stuff that you'd be using, so you can keep it all together. But this case is very nice. It's a very nice leather. It feels very nice, well built, and then the inside is like a felt material that's super soft and shimmery, very shiny. It feels luxurious. It looks very premium. Same with the cable, and then the ear tips. You get one set, small, medium, large, of like just regular basic ear tips. There's another set that feel and look like spin fits, like straight up spin fit ear tips. I'm not sure if they're legit. They're probably clones, but they're nice. And I mean, they look and feel just like the CP-145s. I think that's the ones I have, but just a different stem color. But overall, presentation, unboxing, packaging, everything, very nice. It one of the best at any price point that I've tried. Actually, there was even a little leather cable strap, not those Velcro ones that get sunny hair stuck to it as soon as they touch the ground. They just get covered in fur. No, it was a nice little leather one with a little button clip. Very nice touch. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the sound. At this point, before I even tried the set, I was very impressed. I was hoping and also dreading the sound. I was hoping it was good and dreading that it wasn't, because there's been a lot of sets that I enjoy the build, I enjoy the look, and I enjoy the accessories, unboxing, the experience. That's all part of it for me. But then they end up falling short in the sound, either not preference based or just in general. Something's just needs a lot of work there, and everything else is really good, which kind of makes the set average for me. But this set was the rare case where it didn't fall short in the sound, and I actually really like how this set sounds and how it performs in my preferred music, but also just in general in any type of music. All right, so something new to the channel, a graph. Yes, I got a coupler. No, I don't use it that much because I kind of hate graphing IEMs, but I also try to graph the IEMs after I got an idea of what they're all about. So it's usually one of the final steps I do for a review. Well, at least that's what I plan to do going forward. All right, so here's the graph. Let's take a nice, good sniff. Big sniff. Let's sniff that graph, guys. All you graph sniffers, check out that graph. What do you think? Yeah? No? Maybe? Looks good? What if I showed you this? Ah, how's that? What about this? I'm not sure how many comparisons I'm gonna have, so maybe one more. No? All right, moving on. Are you graph sniffers? Since you got what you needed out of the review already, if you can leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever, the usual. But now getting into how the set actually sounds. So again, like I mentioned, I really liked the sound presentation of the set. Let's start with the bass. So bass was very fun and engaging, and it was actually very good, better than I thought it was going to be. So just spoiler alert for the comparison, I did a lot of back and forth with this set and the SA6 original, because that's the one I have and that's the one I've heard. So unfortunately, no Ultra comparisons or Mark II comparisons. I haven't heard either of those, and I'm not sure if I ever will. No plans to purchase. If somebody wants to send it out, for review or to loan or whatever, let me know. So sub bass is, well, just bass in general is very textured in this set and a little boomy. Not in a bad way. It was still well controlled enough. That might be because it's lower quantity, where that boominess just added a lot of viscosity and texture to the bass. So the bass itself was very engaging, especially in my usual library like K-pop, pop, or any of that modern stuff. Bass was very engaging. It was very nice. And like I mentioned, just that texture and layering and the dynamics within the bass was great. It was very impressive there. Overall, bass, big positive, awesome. So going into the mids, since, there's no bass tuck or any of that nonsense, mids are well weighted, they sounded pretty much neutral. There is a little bit of gain going into the upper mids. It's more of like an anti-shout set, kind of like, you know, the SA6s, all of them. And that allowed female vocals to be a little bit forward, but overall they were well controlled, natural. Male vocals were kind of neutral. Overall mids were just pretty average. No congestion, nothing like that in there. It was layered very well. Also plenty of space. Even when sounds were occupying the same area, you can easily distinguish them. It was just very, very clean and well done. Just overall mids as expected. And now moving on to the treble. Now this is where the strengths and the weakness of this set lies, and let me explain. This does have a good amount of air. It really pushes a lot of details forward, and it like amplifies, almost forcefully pushes the details forward. And we'll get into that in the text, but let me finish here on just the treble. Before I get ahead of myself, I tend to do that. So that added air, especially like on female vocals that were heavily processed, so like auto-tune or modified, you know, all that filtering stuff that they do. Female vocals that had a lot of that stuff on got a very metallic sheen and harshness layered on top due to this air. It was very similar to the MP145, which had a lot of air, but I think it had more, or maybe in a different region. That one was a little difficult for me to use for long sessions. It was more fatiguing for me than this set is. That was mostly on female vocals. It was a little bit present on electric guitars. It was mostly on higher end frequencies. Natural female vocals were fine. They were good. They sounded very natural, effortless. No issues there. Same with instruments. All the instruments that were just more natural, acoustic, unprocessed were fine. It was just the more digitized, artificial, unnatural stuff tended to get that little bit of a sharp sheen on it. But even then, it wasn't that bad. It's just affected the timbre qualities of those sounds. All right, so let's get into the text. Like I mentioned before, this set is extremely detailed, and it has to be because of that treble. It really forces a lot of details up, and it gives a lot of sounds a very concise and well-defined outline. It was so crazy how well separated things were because of it. You had a lot of little tones, a lot of little sounds that were just so individualized because of this, and you can pick them out of, you know, whatever you were listening to. There were sounds you can pick out and focus on. Cymbals were like doing things I never heard them do before. Sometimes they were a little on the splashy side because of that, again, added air, but most of the time it was just like there was a lot of stuff that kind of aggressively took your attention. It was great. That's something I really enjoy, but I would consider them a little bit less musical because of that. I prefer more of the soft text or the subtleness and stuff that's more musical. This set was good, but at the same time, again, going back to the treble, it's a little crude, and let me get into that in the comparisons. But first, let's finish up here. Like I mentioned before, there was really good dynamics and separation, layering. It's just all the texts were very clean. In the mids, there was no congestion. Stage does feel pretty open, not as vertical, but a good amount of width. And again, even stuff that was occupying the same area was well separated within itself. So now going into the comparison, I started with stuff around this price range, like the Performer 5, the Yume 2. What else do I have over there? Bunch of stuff. I started there, but immediately those sets just fell outclassed. The CK-LVX just sounded a lot better, mostly in the text. The tuning is good. I actually really like this tuning, so that was fine. Tuning great. Texts were above its price range. So I ended up comparing it to the SA6 original, which I happened to just pick up recently. I don't know if I'll do a review for that one, but probably be a reference set. If you guys want my full impressions on it, let me know in the comments, then I'll see if I feel like doing a review. I'm kind of lazy. So main difference tuning wise, SA6 is more of a mid-focus set. The CK-LVX focuses more on the treble. So less focus on those mids, even though they're still good on the CK-LVX, but a lot more focus on that treble. Overall, the best way I can compare these two is the CK-LVX is that, you know, that youngster, that new talent with the raw potential that's very good, but not as refined. And the SA6 is the seasoned veteran with plenty of experience, well refined and more deliberate in its presentation. Treble on the SA6 wasn't as prominent, but like I mentioned, more refined, more sophisticated, and a little bit more effortless, while the CK-LVX was more intrusive, a little more crude, well performing, but lacked the sophistication that the SA6 had. On the bass, both sets were clean, but the CK-LVX's bass was a lot more enjoyable. It felt bigger than it was because, like I said, a little bit of that boom might be, you know, it being a dynamic driver compared to the balanced armature. SA6 bass felt lighter, a little bit cleaner, more controlled, but less visceral. The man, I hate that name. The CK-LVX bass was just way more enjoyable. Really felt, you know, the air moving, and it was great. Rumble was great. SA6, cleaner, more distinguished, but not as satisfying. So that's basically it. I'm not sure if the CK-LVX beats the SA6 for me. SA6 is just really great. If I can put the bass from the CK-LVX on the SA6, man, that'd be great. Oh man, that would be awesome. That's the biggest shortcoming on the SA6 for me. It's just that bass, not enough of that but CK-LVX has plenty of it. It's not too much, you know, it's what I would consider an actual bass hit IM, quality bass, not just a lot of it. Well controlled, well detailed, textured. But anyways, I can probably talk about the set forever. That is the CK-LVX by MYER-AUDIO. Rec rating, can you guess? What do you guys think? CK-LVX gets a rec rating of 3. It's just insane value. The sound on its own is great, but they didn't cut any corners. They gave you great accessories, everything you need. You buy this one set and you're set. That's it. You're good for a lot of stuff. Very versatile set, was fine through a lot of genres. Great performance. Rec rating 3. It's worth looking into. If you get a chance to demo it, if it's something you might be into, I'll leave a link in the description for you guys below. But that's it. If you have any further questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I really like to say, guys, and if you end up picking it up, let me know. Let me know what you think. And I guess that's it. All right, guys. I am Awesome Danny. Until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye.